What is up, everyone? Welcome to round one of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons July 2024 tournament. It's a new month, which means we got new decks. Let's jump in. All right, first up, we got a doozy. We have Caustic Plane Great Combo. This uses the card Greater Good, which is an enchantment for 4. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to that creature's power, then choose and discard 3 cards. Basically, you're wanting to play out a Phyrexian Dreadnought and sack it to the Greater Good to draw 12 cards, and eventually just get enough value through that you're finally able to either replenish or just hard cast a Pandemonium and Saproling Burst, which is the combo win for this deck. Overall, it looks super cool. I'm excited to see how it performs, so let's see who he's playing against. Well, if there ever is a litmus test for the format, it is going to be Sligh, and we have William playing a pretty classic build of it. The only real differences I noticed were Urza's Baubles in the main, which I think is becoming a little more standard. Kind of makes sense. You're filtering through all the bad cards, so you're only drawing good ones. And One Price of Progress main, which is very interesting. And then also a sideboard Threaten, which is a sorcery active treason before even active treason was a thing. Very cool to see. All right, well, we got the decks, so let's get into the games. Okay, here we go. We got Caustic on the left, William on the right. Now, I did say in the deck text that Sligh is definitely the deck you test all your brews against. And, well, I'm not sure if Caustic, I don't think he's the originator of the Great Combo. I'm actually fairly certain he's not, but I'm sure he's tweaked it in some way. Always liking to play these crazy brews and off the wall decks. Looks like he's going to be mulliganing this time. Oftentimes the decks are of his own creation, or at least of his own variation. All right, we'll see if we can get a better 6 here. He does have a lot of fast mana in the Elder Spirit Guides and Lotuses, which does help him power out stuff faster. But I think this first game is really just going to come down to how fast of a hand does William have. And we definitely see lands and spells. He's got at least a Mog and a Shock and maybe even a Bolt. All right, we are off. Gonna just lead off with the Mog Fanatic and go. And hopefully we'll see that life total get updated when he has a chance as well. All right, and Caustic playing out one of the... I don't actually know the right term for these, but Stockhold lands or something like that. I don't know. The ones that make 2 whenever you tap them, but you have to remove a counter. Great for early acceleration, which I think is what the deck wants to do for sure. All right, and a Land War Waste. He does have a Dreadnought in hand. Can he power out something this turn? Notably, I did not see a way for him to actually keep the Phyrexian Devourer in play, but I don't think that's super relevant. All right, we are going to duress here. And I believe that does just open him up to a lot of damage. William probably going to fire off the best burn spells he has in hand so they don't get lost. All right, we are going to bolt. There's at least a shock. No, we are going to let... Ooh, we're going to let Caustic decide. All right, so we got a Ball Lightning, Fire Blast, 2 shocks. No third mountain is a consideration for the Ball Lightning. I think you just, yeah, Just take the Fire Blast. It enables so many out of nowhere wins. All right, then might as well be mana efficient. Use one of the shocks. Caustic already at 13. Oh, is that another Fire Blast off the top? The Thoughtseize bug is very much alive. Oh no, it was a Mog Fanatic, okay. Thoughtseize bug even when there is no Thoughtseize bug. And I just realized also this is Duress, not Thoughtseize, so he couldn't have taken the Ball Lightning anyways. So, even more case to take the Fire Blast. I'm sure people have already mentioned in the comments how you can't take the Ball Lightning. I'm on it. Been playing too much Modern lately, I guess. Alright, pass and go. Shock you. Down to 10. And if he draws a land here, that might just be enough for game. Nope. Alright, we got a bauble. Take a look at one of your cards. Oh, it's a Dreadnought. Oh, that's kind of scary. Dreadnought and green-black. What's that all about? Alright, and pass. Draw. I think William drew another shock. I'm not entirely sure. And Caustic just sitting there. Is this just going to be game one? Do you have an answer? If not, that's game. Nope. All right, looks like we are going to game number 2. All right, well, that was definitely a quick game number 1, as most Sligh game 1s are. Making sure to keep a hand that can respond to such an aggressive deck is important, and I don't know if we're going to see too much in the way of sideboarding for Caustic. I think he did have some stuff like at least a Warmth and probably a few other tricks for the aggro matchup. William will most likely bring in that second Price of Progress after seeing, I don't think, any basic lands on Caustic's side. Both players thinking about their 7 here. Caustic going again down to 6. It looks like William will be keeping. Always scary when the burn player keeps. Doesn't need much though. Like 2 lands and the rest is action. Usually plenty. Alright, we'll see if we can get a good game 2 here. And for those of you that snuck a peek at the runtime, you know we're probably in for a good one. Or at the very least, a grindy one. And for those of you that didn't sneak a peek, good on you. It's good to be surprised sometimes. Oof. Caustic going to 5. Not great. It would be amazing to see this deck perform on camera, do his combo, get to do all the fun things. Hopefully we get to see that. Okay. Alright, let's all hope for a good 5. Again, I have no idea how this deck mulligans, so it could either mulligan really well, which is why he's been so aggressive about it, or his hands have just been that poor, which, judging by game 1 where he cast literally 1 spell, may not have been the best hand. Alright, we have a capable 5, folks. And we're just gonna start off with the tap land. Alright, Grim Lavamancer go. That's a pretty good start. And Caustic's game 2 looking very familiar. Playing out a Landmar Waste again. This time though, being on the play, hopefully he'll be able to make better use of the mana. Alright, second land drop. Are we just swinging in? Looks like we are. Second Grim Lavamancer. Say go. Alright, Gemstone Mine. Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and bolt you right now. And Caustic passes the turn. Still doing nothing. Still has all his mana up. 4 mana right now on turn 3. Hopefully we'll see some action. Ooh, that's a Fire Blast in hand for William. And is just gonna pass, not even swinging in. Very interesting. No Ball Lightnings. I think might be flooded a little bit actually. Although I think he does have an Incinerate and the Fire Blast, so not that flooded. But Burn can also just play on your opponent's turn. Alright, here's Undiscovered Paradise. And we are tapping mana, folks. It's happening. Alright, there's a greater good. That Greenland needs a counter removed as well. And just passing. Alright, sacking 2 mountains to Fire Blast you, floating 2 red. Gonna use both of those 2 to exile those cards, deal another 4. And then go to Will's turn. There's another land. Fetch land does help get even more damage online, potentially. Good Caustic catching that land should have 1 counter on it now, not 2. And if he can just hang on for 1 turn, maybe he can actually combo off here. And we'll get to see what the deck does. Alright, just hard swinging in for 2. Drop to 6. Pass to you. Okay, we are tutoring for the Dreadnought, I believe. There it is, yep. Are we gonna see it, folks? Was William just a hair too slow this time? Alright, Undiscovered Paradise goes back to hand. Draw the Dreadnought. Tap for a colorless. Play out the Dreadnought. Sack the Dreadnought to greater good. Draw 12 cards. Discard 3. Oh, that's 2 more Dreadnoughts. So that's another 24 cards. So what are you pitching? Already played a land for turn. Alright, pitch those lands. You just play out another Dreadnought here. So what you're looking for essentially is getting Pandemonium and Saproling Burst into the graveyard thanks to the Greater Good trigger, and then having enough mana to actually reclaim them. Okay, we're gonna do Dark Ritual. 3 black floating to the battlefield and win that way. Pandemonium is a 4-drop enchantment where whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player being the key one here, of their choice. Pandemonium is a fun little enchantment where you can remove fading counters to make creatures with power and toughness equal to the number of fading counters on it. Alright, we're getting a second Phyrexian Dreadnought here. What 3 are we pitching? I don't know if he's drawn... Actually, that might be a Pandemonium. He still has one more Dreadnought in hand. Alright, I think that was just 3 more lands pitched. Spend 1, Dark Ritual again, go up to 4. Use 1 of it for your Dreadnought. Okay, Lotus Petal coming down. He drew a Warmth. Do you play out the Warmth? I have to think you can win this turn, right? I mean, the Warmth doesn't do anything if William has the Burn spell and the Fire Blast. Because he can just do it at instant speed in response. So I think you do have to Phyrexian Dreadnought here again and just go for it. Alright, 2 green floating. I'll spend 1 of it for the 3rd Dreadnought. And is actually gonna Swords it. Very interesting call. Does get 12 more life. Back up to 18. Again, that doesn't play around the Fire Blast. If William did have it, we know he's got that Incinerate still. Alright, gonna Dark Ritual again. 6 black. Duress you. Alright, gonna crack. Find a mountain, Incinerate. Caustic, making sure the life totals are updated for both players. But I am a little curious here with Caustic's game plan. It seems like you'd want to go for the remaining 12. Oh, unless he's got his one of recall card. I forget exactly what the green one is called, but oh, I think that is what he's got pulled to the front. Okay, we're gonna pitch a Spirit Guide, make more green mana. If I remember something dreams. 2 green and X. Return X cards. I think you have to discard as well. Nostalgic Dreams. Yeah, sorcery, 2 green as additional cost. Discard X cards. Return X cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Dreams. So this kind of explains, I guess, why he didn't hit the Dreadnought. Those are green. Colored dice or writing it down may be helpful in the future. Alright, so smartly sacking the Lotus Petal with so many cards in hand where you can just get it back and have additional mana. I'm not sure what he sacked the Lotus Petal for. What color mana exactly. Alright, we're discarding at least 1, 2. Another Greater Good. Notably, none of the combo pieces. Oh, it does look like he might actually have Pandemonium in hand. I think at a certain point you'd want to get that in the graveyard, right? If you're going to replenish, which he does also have in hand. But maybe not. Alright, so it looks like we're just getting 4 cards. 2 of the Dreadnoughts, a Dark Ritual, and a Lotus Petal. And that Nostalgic Dreams actually gets exiled. But I don't know if it'll matter. Alright, Lotus Petal coming down. Use 1 of the black mana for a Dreadnought, sack it, draw 12 cards. Drew his last Dreadnought. I think might have drawn the Saproling Burst too. Not entirely sure. Notably that Pandemonium triggers on the Dreadnoughts too. So as long as you can get that down and play out 2 Dreadnoughts, that's enough for a game as well. Alright, we're pitching 1 of the Dreadnoughts. Play a Lotus Petal. All the mana in the world. And Dark Ritualing to make sure. Use 1 of it for another Dreadnought. I'm not sure how many cards he has left in his deck, but it is got to be few. Alright, Pandemonium and Saproling Burst going to the graveyard. Replenishes at the very back of his hand, so we know he's got it. Pitching some Spirit Guides. Not sure why we need all this mana. Maybe just to make sure we don't run out. Another Spirit Guide. At this point, I think Caustic's just toying with his food a little bit. Or maybe he's just a little unfamiliar playing this deck in paper. Alright, we are casting the Replenish. And here's where the combo happens. Pandemonium and Saproling Burst is going to be more than enough. So Saproling Burst comes into play with 7 counters. So remove 1, deal 7, deal 6, deal 5, 4, 3, 2. You get the idea. Ends up being 21, I think. More than enough for lethal right now. So I'm pretty sure that's just game. And yeah, we're gonna go to game number 3. Okay, here we are in game number 3. Caustic managing to pull it back from a mult to 5 last time. And maybe while dirtling a bit, still finding the path to the win. Maybe playing around stuff I'm not even considering too, that is entirely possible. But now the burn player is on the play, and that is going to make a huge difference. You could argue William was just about 1 turn off of winning that time. So we'll see if he can beat the rush here. It looks like both players are going to keep, potentially, or one of them is just thinking about their hand a little bit. No, both players are keeping. We're getting a clean 7 start for this game number 3. And here's a Jackal Pup, which against a arguably creatureless deck, those Dreadnoughts don't stick on the field long enough to do anything, is a great turn 1 start. Alright, and then we're going to get the Bauble you. More importantly, draw a burn spell. And does draw a Lightning Bolt. Looking like a very good start for William. Let's see what Caustic has going here. Alright, we're going to duress, take a point from that. Probably going for the bolt here as the most efficient means. Although that Sylveric Vortex is not too kind either. Alright, looks like that'll be the play. Repeatable damage is definitely dangerous, for sure. And you don't want to be in a losing race with a Vortex. Alright, Mog Fanatic. No real reason to crack that and bolt now. Can always do it on your opponent's step. Alright, the storage land coming down. Caustic maybe having some action here. Does he have a swords? We did see 4 swords. He does have an Enlightened Tutor, at least 1. I think we might have even seen 2. Getting some scratch paper out. Gonna do a little bit of math here, I think. Oh, I think just writing down what he saw in hand. Not every player plays open once they've been duressed, which is totally fine. Definitely want to make sure your opponent is comfortable, but if you're able to play with open hands, and not only is good for our coverage, but that's how I prefer to play too. Makes it easier. You don't have to spend as much time writing down and trying to get your opponent. Not that I think William's that concerned about time. It definitely is tough to have a grindy series when you're playing such an aggressive deck, although when you're against combo, it can definitely feel that way for sure. Alright, so we have 3 mana currently up. Need 4 for Lurin, but as we've seen, there's definitely ways in the deck to get that mana with Dark Rituals and the Pitch Elves and, well, just more Lotus Petals. But nope, we're just gonna see it pass here on your end step. Go ahead and bolt you. Makes sense. Caustic dropping down to 14. Alright, another burn spell, it looks like. We're gonna get in for 3. Drop to 11. No Fire Blast right now. 2 cards in hand. I think they're both shocks. Pain Land, looking extra painful here. But you are in a race, and I think you need to crack it. If you need to go get your Greater Good or your Dreadnought, this is the time to do it. I have to imagine this deck can combo out as early as turn 3. It seems like if you get a good draw off your first Dreadnought, sack to Greater Good, you can just finish the game that way. Alright, we see a Replenish, we see at least one Tutor. I do not see a Greater Good, but doesn't mean it's not there. The glare is a little tough to read sometimes. And Caustic in the tank here. This is a pretty critical turn, I'd have to imagine. Depending on what William has in hand, he could be losing next turn. Alright, we are not going for it. We're just going to untap, draw. What did we find? Caustic definitely thinking hard about this. Like I said, this is, I think, the pivotal turn. Either can pull it off or it's gonna be out of luck. Do you have an Allurin in hand? Or a Greater Good, sorry, in hand. Not Allurin. Right now, does have 4 mana. Okay, we're gonna Dark Ritual, 3 Black Foeing. 6 mana total. Alright, Greater Good is here. And no, we're just getting a pass. Alright, shock you, incinerate you. Okay, so that's 5. Down to 6. Any burn spell here. And William wins. Swinging for 3. Drop to 3. There's a Lavamancer, that's not a burn spell. And no cards in hand. This is where you go for the Enlightened Tutor, and let's see if we can pull it off. Down to 2. Grab the Dreadnought. Are we going to see a win at 2 life? Functionally 1 with that Mog Fanatic. And let's hope Caustic remembers that Mog Fanatic is on the board and doesn't try and go for that City of Brass. Alright, the most important cut in the match so far. We're drawing 12 cards after this. The hand on the city was scaring me a little bit. Alright, we're gonna see a Dreadnought. Sack the Dreadnought. Draw 12. Oh, I think 2 of those were City of Brasses, so those are probably getting pitched. Dark Ritual. Oh, I think that Dreadnought was the last card. That cut was super important. If he didn't see that Dreadnought, there was no way this game was continuing. Okay, so I would imagine... Wait, does he not have any other pitch cards? I mean, he can still play out the Dreadnought, sack it. See another 12. Now, he does have Gemstone Mines, which will color fix him. Alright, that's what we're going to play out. Okay, 2 green now. Float a black, cast Dark Ritual, 3 black floating. Spend 1 of it for a Dark Ritual, 5 black floating. Cast a Dreadnought. Draw 12. Yep, okay. Draw 12, discard 3. Drew a Lotus Petal. Those reanimates are not going to help. Drew another Dreadnought. I mean, all we're looking for here again is the Pandemonium, Sapling Burst, and the Replenish. If he's got those in hand at this point, that's good enough, but it doesn't look like it. Alright. Looks like we're going to be playing out another Dreadnought, but first, some Lotus Petals. You might as well move that City of Brass far away so you're not tempted to use it. Put it on the other side of the room if you have to. Alright, spending a black for a Dreadnought. Drew another Dreadnought. And I'm thinking this is gotta be locked up, if not very close. Alright, there's a Sapling Burst, there's a Pandemonium. Are we gonna see the Replenish? Did it get drawn? Spend a mana, cast a Dark Ritual, go up to 5. That with the Lotus Petals, do you have what you need? Do you have the Replenish? He does. That is going to be game. Caustic is going to take it down at the very last possible second on a functionally 1 life. Good games. That was really cool to see. Definitely a bit of a thinker at times, but very fun to see that combo deck fire off and beat one of the mainstays of the format in Sligh. Good job again to both players. You both played extremely well. And thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps the channel. And if you want to help the channel even more, there is a Patreon link in the video description below. Money from that goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses, and just making more pre-modern videos. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.